Hey friends, Dash here. Hey, hope you're all having a good day. Today, I'm gonna show you a mowing project, and we were asked by a gentleman by the name of Derek. Derek is a really cool guy. He asked us to come out to his property and do a little bit of mowing for him. He's going to plant some tree rows on both sides of his driveway. He owns quite a few acres, it looks like. Derek wanted us to mow basically tall weeds. It really wasn't too thick. Some areas were a little bit more thicker than others, but thought it was something that our 1025 could handle and something that we would be able to help with. This is not going to be my most finest work in terms of a video, but it goes to show that you can't always get the job done the way that you expect it to. So I'm going to share that with you. I want to be honest with how things go sometimes. So you'll see that here. But before we get into that, I want to talk a little bit about Derek. Derek is a really fascinating man. He's currently building this. It's kind of a greenhouse type of a structure, I guess, and he got a grant from the state to do it, and it's one of the only ones in the state. I wish I could have talked to him more about it, but he's really fascinating. He also owns his own business, and the business is called Folly Hill Farm. Him and his wife own it, and what they do is they sell organic soils and organic fertilizers. And I'd love for you to check out his website. It's called blackbison.org. You can also find him on Facebook and Instagram. They're just a local, small organic farm here in the Bismarck area. There's no chemicals and those types of things associated with his products. And if you want to go the organic, the green route, please check him out on Facebook, on Instagram, or visit his website at www.blackbison.org. Love to support him here in the local area, so if you get a chance, check out some of his products. You can also get a hold of Derek at soil@blackbison.org. Send him an email or give him a call. Look up his website. His contact information is there. If you want to buy some good organic fertilizer and soils, please get a hold of him. He is your guy. Well, this is Derek's property. This is a 1025R subcompact tractor, whatever you want to call it, heaven. This is one giant playground from a tractor guy's perspective. I just had to throw this view in here too. On the way to the field at the top of the hill, you could see for miles. It was such a beautiful view. Now this is one of the fields that he had asked me to mow. You can see the grass is, not very tall, not too thick, just some thick weeds, a little bit of buckbrush, but overall not too bad. What you can see underneath is all the lumps, and I don't know if you can see here in this video clip, we just passed some cow pies. This portion was grazed by some cows and some other cattle before we mowed, and I think that's why it was a little bit less. But here you can see that I stopped and I found a rock, and so I want to pick that up and move it quick. But these first few scenes, I'm just going to show you how well the mower does in the thick grass. Some people might think that they're going to need a brush hog or something like that for this. I'm here to show you that you do not need a rotary cutter or any of that type of implement to mow this tall type of grass. So I'm going to let you watch here in a little bit, and then I'm going to show you some not so cool video clips, and we'll talk a little bit about that. notice the dust that this is creating. Man, it was dusty. Okay, now you're gonna see me scalp some of these hills with the mower. This doesn't sound so pretty. Hey friends, I'll let you in on a little secret. That's not a tan on my face. Getting a little hot. I've only come that far, and this is the 4th time that I'm having to clean the screen. Oh, I tell ya. Now the Kubotas, I believe they have their radiator in the back, down by your feet, or the floorboard. And in this situation, this would be much better. I'm going to get a good view of this. There. And this little screen right here. Oh, it's falling off even as I... There. There. Good to go for another, I don't know, 7 or 8 laps. Woo! It is dust. I'm not sure how well you can hear that. But the water is actually boiling. This is now my 5th time that I've had to remove the screen and clean it out. And this time it got so hot it hit the red the red mark on the gauge, and it automatically killed the PTO, and the display said engine overheat. So I got off and you could actually hear it boiling. So I think I'm going to let it rest for a little bit, let it cool down, and we'll try some more. This is an hour's work right here. Doesn't seem that far for an hour. Hey guys, man, I'm here to tell you that this is work. I've never mowed anything this sizable with the 60D belly mower, and for this type of project you can get the job done, but it's going to take time, and I'm learning that this is not the optimal equipment for this type of work. Even a brush hog would be better, but in theory that might actually be slower depending on what size you have. I have a 48-inch one, and that's narrower than the belly mower, and you can't really go any faster, not in this field, because it's so lumpy. I mean, I feel that at the same time I'm not only mowing the grass, but I'm also leveling the field a little bit. I can't tell you how much I'm scalping these tall ant hills and, I don't know, just lumps. It's bad. The mower seems to be holding up fine. I checked the belt. I thought for sure that the belt might be a little bit worn. It seems to be all right now, but man, this is not something that I would probably do again. And I want you all to learn from my experience. This whole video tractor experience is all learning for me. It's a lot of fun, but when you run into something like this today, it can become not fun very quick. And I'll tell you what, if you want to do this as a little side hustle or even to help people, whatever it is, it it can surprise you in many ways because you don't think about all the little things that go into a job like this. If you're gonna do something easy like garden tilling, that's fun. Okay, you go out there, you wear the same clothes and they're nice and clean, you come back and for the most part you're nice and clean. This, you're full of dust. You feel like you're riding a Bronco out here hitting all these bumps. I mean, the tractor's just rocking left to right and up and down, and it's a lot. And other things that you don't really think about is the road. So the road that we're on is all gravel. So not only does the tractor get full of dust and dirt, and in this case full of it's all over the mower deck, it's all over the tires, and not only does that smell, but then you got to clean it off. You're going to use the pressure washer, and then you're probably going to wash your clothes. I don't have a ton of clothes. I mean, what I have here is basically what I got. I mean, in terms of my gear, I have 2 hats, I have 1 sweatshirt, so that means I'm going to have to go home and wash the sweatshirt. So that's time that I'm not thinking about that I have to put into maintaining looking presentable. Basically, when I go see the next customer, I want to make sure that I'm at least clean. I don't want to be full of dirt and stuff. So there's a lot of extra time that you put into these projects that you don't necessarily think about when they're dirty like this. When they're dusty, when you have manure to deal with, when you have dirt roads. So just something to think about. If you guys are going to do something like this, or if you guys think that maybe this is something you're interested in, you know, consider it. Anyway, we're going to get back at it. Keep on trucking away. Number 7. And then it all falls down there. I don't know that you can see that very well, but I don't know that the screen protector is really doing that great of a job. I finally got smart and started using the loader as a technique. I'd put it in a float position and I'd basically push it along the ground, and if I ever felt that loader move up, I know I was either approaching a large hill or I was about to hit a rock. And well, things happen. I figured it wasn't going to harm the tire too much any if I just kept going, so I kept on going. Poor Johnny, he's in rough shape here. Well, here it is, folks. This is one whole field mowed right here. Took a few hours, but we got it done. back home now. That project we did not complete. We got halfway done. We got one field mowed, and we rode around in the other field just to check it out, see the perimeter, and there were some rocks in there. And I got that feeling, one of those gut feelings that said, if you mow this field, you're gonna hit one of those rocks, and you're gonna mess up something in your mower. And at that point, I had already discovered that I had a flat tire, and so it wasn't really going well for us. It was dusty. We were only out there for about 3 hours. Well, only out there for 3 hours. That seems like a long time, but it was like 3 hours of riding horse, like galloping horse and running horse. I mean, it was, my core hurts. My core hurts from literally trying to balance out my body as the tractor goes every which way. So I let the homeowner know that just not able to complete the other side. My equipment is not optimal for the conditions. Had the ground been smooth and not lumpy like a field like that, we would have been fine. Yeah, it would have been dusty, and a lot of those other same situations might have happened, but the lumps and how rough the terrain was is just not optimal for a good cut. And I don't know that I really could have done it any faster with a rotary cutter, maybe, but even then that still wouldn't have been ideal. So lesson learned, but we're gonna keep working at it. I also want to comment that today's decision to leave the job was not out of laziness or any feeling of, yeah, I'm just tired and I don't want to do it. This was strictly risk versus reward. It came down to that principle. As I was going through that field and not knowing what I was running over, and spotting some large rocks, I felt that I had already gotten lucky enough with not hitting anything major in the first field. There were some rocks. I was able to see them and therefore go around them. And for the amount of money that I was charging to do the job, it was not equivalent to the amount of risk that I was absorbing by performing the work. And so halfway through, you start to realize that, and you don't want to push your luck any further. It's kind of like gambling. For you gamblers out there, you can always use a lot of luck, but don't push it. So that's kind of exactly what we're doing here today. And it's kind of a bummer, you know, to not complete a job for a customer, but I mean, that's, you live and you learn. You live and you learn. That's just how it goes sometimes. Well, I got back and we're cleaning up Johnny. Gave Johnny a bath. He really needed it. It's just so nice to see your tractor when it's actually clean. Anyway, wanted to take a look at the mower deck to see if I could see any damage or anything like that. I mean, I've bogged the tractor down multiple times and put it to the test today. So I have to find out when to change this gearbox fluid, the oil. It has 100 hours on it. Well, I don't know about the mower. The tractor has just a little over 100 hours. So anyway, I have to look into when to change the gearbox here. But I wanted to take a look at the belt. The belt actually looks decent. What I do notice though is right underneath it, you see the wear marks. You also see it right here on this brace. Now, the thing that worries is the edge right here. I think that has potential to do some damage. It doesn't look like it has yet. It hasn't torn up the belt any. Same thing is true on this side. And you also have the wear marks right there. So it got it right down to the metal. It took the paint off. I don't see any other visible spots on the mower deck, but it's a little bit dirty. Tried to get some of the grass out of there. I might even clean it up a little bit more. But this mower deck can take a beating. Let me tell you, this mower deck is built very well. It's strong. It's strong. I'm surprised at what it can eat through. This just goes to show that if you're considering mowing down some weeds and you're thinking about getting a rotary cutter, a brush hog, a bush hog, whatever you want to call it, you don't always need one of those. It just depends. Now today I wasn't mowing anything over probably a quarter to maybe a half-inch diameter pieces of wood at the most. So we're not pushing the limits too much. It's all old, kind of dead weeds and some of the buck brush, I believe they call it. And that handled it easy. It didn't even bog the mower down. What bogged the mower down was all the hills that I was scalping. And I didn't have the mower deck down 1 inch. I had the 3-point all the way to the top, and it was still scalping. So, but this just goes to show that you can mow weeds with it. You can mow some pretty thick stuff with your standard belly mower on a 1025R. This is the 60D. Some of the older models have the 54-inch deck. So this one is 6 inches wider. But in theory, the smaller the deck, the more power behind each blade, and therefore you might be able to mow down more. I'm not sure. But keep that in mind if you're thinking about getting a brush hog. Depends on what you're mowing. This mower can handle quite a bit. Hey friends, I hope you liked the video. I hope it was informational and maybe even a little entertaining. But we're going to do a review on the King Cutter XB tiller coming on up here in the future. We'll also be doing a second review of our AV20F Frontier grapple. We've had both implements now for about 2 months or so, and we've had a number of projects with them, so we can speak to what we like about them, what we don't like about them, and so forth. So stay tuned to our channel. Again, please like and subscribe, and thanks for watching. We really appreciate it. Have a great day.